Amputee Jason Barnes did not imagine that a prosthetic arm would allow him play the piano. But a prosthesis developed by researchers at Georgia Institute of Technology uses ultrasound technology to allow him move each finger on the limb independently. Barnes had an accident at work in 2012 that led to doctors amputating his right arm just below the elbow. His usual prosthesis uses electromyogram sensors to pick up electric signals from the remaining muscle to move the hand in limited ways. But the Georgia Tech researchers, led by Gil, use a different technology to give him the fine motor skills needed to play the piano.
We developed a prosthetic arm that works based on ultrasound signals that can detect intentions of amputees for moving their fingers. So we can detect what fingers they want to move, even if they don't have the finger. It's just the phantom stamp that they are operating. And we're using machine learning over the stamp to see exactly not only what finger is being pressed, but how much it's being pressed. So we can do continuous control.
The team came up with the idea by chance after spotting an ultrasound probe in the lab.
Completely different. It's way more intuitive. A lot of the other previous prosthetics that are on the market only allow for certain grip patterns. What this allows me to do is do whichever grip I want on the fly without having to change modes or press a button or anything.
By looking at the muscle in more detail, the researchers could see how moving different fingers would make the muscle in Barnes' stump move in different directions or at different speeds.
We tried to have EMG controlling and finger-by-finger control, and we failed. And then we have a eureka moment, because when we tried it, it was next to an ultrasound machine, and we said, let's look at the muscle. And we put the ultrasound, and we saw the muscle maybe shooting the same way, the same level of electric activity, but it moves in different location. So the idea was, let's use the vision, basically looking at the muscle and not just measuring the electric activity.
The result is a prosthetic arm its developers compared to Luke Skywalker's bionic hand in the Star Wars movie.
So for amputees who can play piano, the same prosthetic arm can later be used for fine motor control, for bathing, grooming, all the things that amputees need to do, and they cannot do with prosthetic arm that is very coarse.
Well, Gil says the fine motor control needed for playing the piano can be used by amputees in other areas like washing and dressing themselves. He says he has used the technology to assist stroke patients who have lost movement in their hands, and says it could be useful for many able-bodied people too. Despite the loss of his arm, Barnes can now add pianist to his resume, along with drummer, thanks to the Georgia Tech team. He already has a specially designed prosthesis that allows him play the drums.